All right, we are starting. Well, we're starting in a couple minutes, actually. So, welcome. If you're here early or if you're listening to the recording, you get this extra 3 minutes before we begin. I'm just going to take care of a couple things here behind the scenes, and then we will go live. So bear with me for a moment while I take care of business back here, and we'll start in just a couple minutes. Sending out a couple of last minute tweets and Facebook updates. Oh, here comes Rocco. I hear him. Hang on, Rocco. Oh, Rocco's made an appearance here. Hang on, dog. I'll get you, and then we'll go on and do our webinar. Oh, Rocco. Come here. See Daddy. Come and see. Come here, Rocco. Hey guys, Rocco the Pug is here. Lou is here. If you're listening to the recording, you get this extra craziness in the background here for a couple minutes before we begin at the top of the hour. And I'm sharing my screen, so you should be seeing a title slide that says the Video Marketing Advantage. If that's what you're seeing, you're in the right place. And we're sharing our screen here, our little PowerPoint. And right at the top of the hour, in just a minute or so, we will begin. Again, welcome. Thank you for being here. We will start in just a moment. What happens is when you record these Google Hangouts and they get shared to YouTube and Google+, and then you can use it as a replay on Webinar Jam, you get the whole recording, even though the pre-stuff right before we go live. So that's what you're seeing here. And that's what we've got. So we're almost there. Hang in there for another minute or so, and we'll get started. It's going to be worth the wait. But the way the Webinar Jam thing works here is we have to wait until we're officially at the top of the hour when we do this live, because that's how everybody joins us via Google Hangouts and Webinar Jam. All right, it's 7 p.m. Eastern Time in the USA, so that means we're getting started. I see people popping into the room here on our Google Hangout. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And you're here for, hopefully, the Video Marketing Advantage webinar, free training, how to have more impact and influence with online video. So I'm going to give it just a maybe 30 seconds or a minute or so before we dive in, just to allow people to get into the webinar room here and get started. But you should be seeing a title slide that says the Video Marketing Advantage, how to have more impact and influence with online video. If you're seeing that lovely blue slide, then you're in the right place. And feel free to type in the chat if you like. You can let us know where you are watching from today, and say hello if you want. We'll give you a shout out if you type into the chat where you're calling in from, basically, or where you are watching from. We've got Amanda, thank you. Great to see you. And Lee and Stephen, Sue, Jean, Teresa, awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We'll give it just another few seconds here, and then we will dive in because I appreciate the fact that you're here, you're on time, you're ready to learn, and I've got some good stuff. So happy to share it with you, and we'll get going in just a moment. Let me just check and see if the chat is working. It seems to be. Jean from Ottawa, Ontario. Oklahoma, Karen from Oklahoma. Gavin from Vegas. Vegas, baby. Awesome. So glad you're here. Thank you so much. And Sandy from Tennessee. We have got a lot of the U.S. and Canada represented, which is awesome. There will be a recording of this. We probably will go only for about 40 minutes or so. Sandy says, hi, Rocco. Rocco ran downstairs because my wife came home. So Rocco's off, but he'll be back. Michael's here from Massachusetts. Josie from Texas. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, this will be recorded if all goes well, and the replay will be available to you. We should go probably for about 40 minutes or so. And because the majority of folks are here and on time, I want to respect your time. So I'm going to dive in. Feel free to ask questions along the way. But again, this is the Video Marketing Advantage, how to have more impact and influence with online video. And isn't that what it's all about? If you can have more impact and more influence in the world, that's a good thing. So what we're going to cover in the next 45 minutes or so is how to build a strong and memorable online presence. I'm going to share the 5 C's of thought leadership. I love alliteration and things that all begin with the same letter. So we'll talk about how to stay top of mind with prospects and clients, also very important. Tips and tools for dramatically increasing your visibility, which is very important online. It's getting so difficult to get and keep people's attention these days. I'm going to share 6 resources for staying in the spotlight even when you're offline. And I'm going to tell you, brag a little bit and tell you how I took a lot of the summer off. Very, very fortunate this summer to be able to not work too much. Not so much by design, but that's just kind of the way it worked out. So let's start with that. Why don't we? So here's the deal. Video is a game changer. Actually, probably a life changer. And I'll tell you why. I managed to basically take a lot of August off and some of July too, and still kept my business totally humming, still maintained a very, pretty high profile online. And this is a little picture here of my son and I playing a father-son softball game. So the reason that I want to tell you about my summer, what I did on my summer vacation, is because video was really responsible for allowing me to really take a lot of time off. Because my son plays baseball, as those of you who follow me on Facebook and Twitter may know, and he plays very competitively on travel teams and things like that. So this summer, this past August, I traveled with him and my family to, let me think, Myrtle Beach, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, obviously, where we live, and we did tournaments, camps, showcases, college camps, all kinds of stuff. And this is, it's, as a student athlete and who's entering his junior year in high school, it's a really important and exciting time, and I don't want to miss that. And the cool thing is that online video has given me the freedom and flexibility to be able to travel all over the place this summer and still keep my business firing on all cylinders, even when I'm at the baseball field watching my kid. So that's a cool thing. And the other thing that's kind of ironic is that when I would talk to my colleagues, they'd say, oh, wow, you must be really busy because I see you all over the place online. You're all over Facebook and YouTube, and it looks like you've got a lot going on. And I didn't really have the heart to tell them that I was barely working. What was really happening was that my videos were giving me a big online presence and making me seem very visible and seem very visible, but really my videos were working for me while I was basically gallivanting around all summer. So I was, there's a picture of the kids at Yankee Stadium. We went to a Yankees game. There's me lounging by the pool in Myrtle Beach. But as you can see, I had a ton of videos in that little middle shot there, and the videos were kind of doing the work for me while I was, screwing around all summer, basically. So that's the power of video. That's the power and the influence that I want to be able to share with you and tell you about in this webinar. And, why shouldn't you be able to take the summer off and have that same kind of cool stuff? Maybe you want a little bit more freedom and flexibility in your life and in your business, and it is totally possible. So that's what I want to share with you in this webinar. And that really is a testament to the power of video. And again, I didn't make these all at once, and certainly didn't, there's a lot of video there, but it didn't all happen at the same time. However, I did have enough to kind of spread out and keep my visibility going and keep my online presence up there while I was away and while I was traveling. And I really think that that's a cool thing about video, that it gives you that kind of visibility even when you're not around. And again, that's what we're talking about here and what I want to share with you. So I call video my superpower. That's my little cartoon superpower thing here. And again, it's available to all of us. The playing field has really been leveled, and it is possible to have that kind of freedom and flexibility when you're using video. And that's what I'm going to basically share with you this evening in the next half hour, 40 minutes or so, is how to get that kind of visibility and have that kind of impact with video so that you too can have more freedom and flexibility, because video really equals visibility. It really puts you out there, gives you a good online profile, a strong online presence, even while you sleep or while you're at a baseball game or while you're doing other things. So again, the other way you could look at it is that you want to, as Steve Martin said, be so good that they can't ignore you. So that means that you can't just throw videos out there. You really have to have compelling content, and you really have to have something worthwhile to share. So a lot of the times in my videos I'm sharing tips and tricks and shortcuts and things like that. But whatever your message may be, whatever your niche is, the important thing is that you try and share good, valuable content. And if you can do that via video, then all the better. So let's get into the meat and potatoes here and the heart of what we're talking about. And what I like to talk about and share with you is how to use video to become a thought leader. And video can help you really become sort of an influencer in your industry, a mover and shaker in your niche. It can also help you to be sought out as an expert. I don't do a lot of public speaking, but when gigs fall on my lap, I'm happy to take them. And that's usually what happens is, I did some stuff earlier this summer where I was speaking at big events, and again, those people found me because of my video presence, and that's why it's great to be sought out as an expert, because you can pick and choose what you want to do and who you want to talk to. It also helps you stay top of mind with colleagues and clients, which is very important in this noisy, competitive environment. It gives you a strong and memorable online presence. And again, those opportunities lead to more income. So the more opportunities you get, whether it be speaking gigs or being on panels or being interviewed or being a guest on podcasts, the more opportunities you get, the more income you can get. So being a thought leader, and this is what I talk about when I talk about using video to be not just visible, but to be an influencer. And the distinction I make there is that being visible is being seen, but being an influencer is being sought. So if you can be an influencer, that's all the better. You can use video to build your influence factor, and not just video, but video content that has a point of view. Again, you have to be saying something compelling and something worth sharing. And you can do that by taking a stand on something. It also helps you to build a tribe. And you have to kind of put yourself out there. And I know a lot of folks, myself included, are not all that comfortable on camera. But I find that if you share your message, you share your passion, you share what's important to you, it will resonate with those folks who you're meant to serve, and it also helps you get, away from being self-conscious about being on video. It really, when the message becomes more important than what you look like on camera, that's the best part of all. Let me take a moment to answer a quick question here. Wow, we have people from New Zealand. Oh my goodness, that is far, far away. And God only knows what time it is there, probably 4 in the morning or something. Germany, Texas, Las Vegas, Rhode Island, Tucson. Sorry about that. So yeah, the slides might be a little bit blurry at first when I zip through them here, but they should come into focus. And also, let's see. And folks, when you signed on at the top of the hour, if you're watching this live, you may have noticed that it looked like the webinar was going on for 10 minutes, but actually it was just the title slide, so you didn't miss anything. It's just that when I start the webinar a little bit early, that's sort of when the timer starts. So hopefully that was the answer to those quick little questions. Let's continue here with being a thought leader and going from visible to influencer. I like to say that you are what you post, and that goes for Facebook posts, Twitter, tweets, videos on YouTube. Videos are the building blocks of your brand. So every video that you put out, or every piece of content really, says something about you. Everything that you post reflects back on you and says something with you. So rather than just kind of throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks, you want to try to post with a plan and upload with a purpose. Now, of course, you can tell us what you had for lunch or take photos of this or that. Sometimes I put random posts up there like Rocco or the Pug or something like that, but that's all part of, my bigger brand. I kind of, include Rocco the Pug in a lot of the stuff that I do, and that becomes a little part of my brand. So everything you post says something about you, and you want to post with a plan and upload with a purpose. And that goes for Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, etc. The good news is that you can use video and all of this content to stay visible 24/7. Because as you put your videos out there, they're out there working for you. It isn't like it's just there one day and gone the next. Once you post to YouTube, it's out there. So as you get videos out there working for you, they're like your little worker bees, because you never know when people are going to see them and watch them. And again, that's how I managed to stay visible while I was gallivanting around all summer. However, I will caution you to say that one and done won't get it done. I mean, you can't just do one video or one Facebook post and expect it to have an impact. You really have to be consistent and almost relentless in your mission to be more visible. And it's okay to stretch past your comfort zone. So you may not be totally comfortable on video, but if you just get on there and get it out there and get it done, you will see that life begins beyond your comfort zone a lot. I don't know who said that, but I'll borrow the quote. So let me talk now about the 5 C's of thought leadership. As I mentioned, I love alliteration. I love my things that start with the same letter, so I managed to find 5 C's of thought leadership. The first one, and I'll talk about each one of these individually in a moment, the first one is content. It all starts with content. I'm sure you've heard the expression content is king. And you really have to create great content to be an influencer and a thought leader and to really remain visible online. We'll get more into that in a moment. The next C is consistency. And that means you have to post consistently, often. Third C is creativity. And that's all about being creative with your content. I'm going to give you some resources and tools to do that in a moment. The fourth C is contribution, and that's just all about playing nice with others. And the fifth C is what I call co-opetition, which is cooperative competition. It's about cooperating and coordinating with folks who you may initially see as your competition. So let me give you a few more details on each one of the 5 C's of thought leadership. And we'll start with content, the first C. So you want to produce great content, and you want to produce great video content. That means staying on message and on brand with your videos. So again, it's all about posting with a purpose. And that means that when you are creating videos and uploading videos, they should be part of a bigger strategy. You don't want to have, one video about one thing one day and then another video about another thing another day, and just all these random, pieces of information out there. You want to try to stay on message and on brand with your videos. That doesn't mean that every one of your videos has to look similar. It just means that you do want to have a bigger picture strategy. You also want to be sure that your videos are relevant to your target audience. So obviously it helps if you know who your target audience is, because that way you can target your videos to them and make sure that they are relevant and compelling. And you might think, oh geez, I uploaded this video to YouTube and it only got 100 views. You know what? If it hit the right people and it was the right 100 viewers, then that's better than having 1,000 people who are not part of your target audience. So try to make sure that your videos are relevant to your target audience, and also try to always add value with your videos. So what I try to do is, now obviously I've got videos that are just to promote a webinar or for a sales page or something, but I also like to have videos that share tips and tools and try to add value. So I try to put content on YouTube with my videos that has something of value, and then finally share what is uniquely you, or at least your take on it. Even if you're in the same niche or market as someone else, you've got your own unique take on things. You're the only one that can deliver your message just like you. So try to share what is uniquely you. And again, the way I do that is it could be as simple and as goofy as including Rocco the Pug in my videos or something. Just again, something that kind of helps you stand out a little bit from the crowd. There are a lot of forms of content and a lot of ways to go about this and to attack it. And you really can even go beyond just video content. And if you think about it, you can post PowerPoint slideshows to slideshare.net. You can create infographics. I use a resource called PictoChart for creating infographics. I don't do it too often because it's a little bit more complicated than just throwing up a photo, but again, it's a great way to share valuable content that gets passed along and gets shared a lot. So again, we're thinking beyond just videos here, but sharing all kinds of different forms of content that may be valuable to your target market. You can share photos on canva.com. I'll show you a little bit more about that resource in a moment. You can share quotes, yours or other people's, using quozio.com. And again, don't worry about writing all these down. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in a moment. You can share classes or workshops that you can do on udemy.com, and you can actually sell those courses and generate revenue from your information and from your content. As I mentioned earlier, you can do a tips series on YouTube. Ebooks and Kindle is another way to share content, obviously. There are folks who are talking a lot about Kindle. And there's even blog posts or guest blog posts. So there are many, many ways to share your content. And in a lot of cases, you can share the same idea or the same content on different platforms and basically, have that piece of content repurposed in a lot of different ways. And that's really what expanding your influence is all about. And I guess if there was a formula, I would call it content plus passion plus posting equals influence. Wow, that's almost tweetable. Content plus passion, which I call sort of your point of view, plus posting equals influence. So it's not just a matter of content, it's content that you are presenting, that you have a passion for or a point of view about, and you post that on any number of places: Facebook, Twitter, infographics, things like that. Again, post early, post often, post with a purpose. A lot of times folks will say, hey, I put that quote on Facebook and I didn't get a whole bunch of likes or a whole bunch of engagement with it. And it's possible that, a lot of folks just didn't see it. So it's okay to repost that the day later, next day, a few days later. So you want to, post often, post with a purpose. And again, folks may have missed it the first time around, so don't be shy about resharing or reposting. Also, if you create a signature product, a signature webinar, or a signature speech that you can be known for, that's always a good idea, because you may be known, as the Kindle person, or you might become known for that signature product or that signature speech. Again, it's a lot like a mission statement, or what some people may call a manifesto. Stay on message and consistent with your branding. I know I sound like a broken record with that, but I'm a branding guy. And then find allies who share your philosophy and create strategic alliances with them. This is how you expand your influence. You find strategic partners, allies, joint venture partners who share your philosophy or share your target market, and create strategic alliances and partnerships with them. Everybody brings something different to the party, so find those folks who complement what you do and see if you can work with them to expand your influence and go beyond your normal circles and kind of get yourself out there in different groups and in different audiences. So what I do, and this is what I call sharing your mission statement or manifesto, I realized that I had a whole bunch of these little statements or quotes that I use fairly often, and I'd keep coming up with things like content trumps quality, and one and done won't get it done, just different things that I say from time to time and different quotes that I share. So what I did was I put them all on one PowerPoint slide, and I can essentially call this my my manifesto slide, because it's got all my different sayings and things like that. And again, what I did in this was I just built a slide, and I had each saying pop on there. So it's not only a slide, it's also a short video. So I created kind of a manifesto video with all my little sayings popping on the screen. You can do the same and basically have your manifesto or your slide for your quotes or your philosophies. So again, it's really easy to create. Obviously it's colorful, and I just happen to make it with a whole bunch of different fonts and things like that. But that's how you can start to share your mission and your manifesto. So share your content and expand your influence. That's about, where do you distribute your content? You can repurpose it. Like I say, you can do infographics and photos and quotes. I'm going to give you a couple of tools to use for sharing your content. And again, you want to continue to recycle your content to give new audiences a chance to find it. So, it's not like you can only post something once 6 months ago and never post it again. You can give your new audiences a chance to find it, whether it be on YouTube, social media, via Kindle books, or maybe even on Udemy via udemy.com courses. So there's a lot of ways to share your content and a lot of ways to get your stuff out there that maybe you hadn't thought about. I mean, everybody thinks about the obvious stuff like Facebook and Twitter, but what about Kindle ebooks or Udemy courses, or some lesser known sites like Instagram or Vine? I wouldn't say they're lesser known, but a lot of people don't share on those. So share your content and expand your influence. Let me take a real quick look at the questions just to see if everything's going okay here. Pop over to the chat. Wow, it's 9 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. Sue says, thank you. Post with a plan and upload with a purpose. Love it. Awesome. Okay, so I just wanted to take a quick check and make sure that we're still live here and that everything is going along swimmingly. All right, cool. So I told you I'd share some resources for sharing your content and getting your content out there. And one of the real hidden gems that I like to use to repurpose my PowerPoints and my presentations and my webinars is slideshare.net. Slideshare.net is now owned by LinkedIn. So it is a place, it's basically like YouTube for slideshows. It's a place where you can share your presentations, your PDFs, your PowerPoints. And again, they don't have to be videos, they don't have to be narrated PowerPoints, they don't have to be fancy. I just take the straight PowerPoint or the straight presentation from the webinars that I do, and I post them on slideshare.net. Again, then nothing fancy. They're just the PowerPoint slides without the voice, without the music, without the video, just slides. But you can see here I've got one video shortcuts that has 1,400 views, another that has 1,800 views, another presentation that has 1,300 views. So that's pretty good exposure and visibility for something that I've already created, and it doesn't take much work to just pop it onto slideshare.net. You can upload presentations and slideshows for free on slideshare.net. If you want to post videos, then you have to get their one of their premium plans, which I think are about $20 a month. So again, I just take my some of my slideshows, some of my presentations, and I put the slides on slideshare.net to basically, find new audiences and give new audiences a chance to see that content. And again, I'm not creating this specifically for SlideShare. I'm just using SlideShare as another way to share existing content. I mentioned earlier infographics, and I use a resource called pictochart.com for that. Pictochart has all the little icons and bells and whistles that you can drag and drop to create your own infographics. So I created one called 50 Cool Things You'll Know How to Do Once You Complete My Mentoring Program when I was doing a mentoring program. And I just, again, listed all the different things and put them onto an infographic. Now, in this case, it wasn't statistics. It was more like quotes and sayings and things. But you get the idea. You can use pictochart.com to create infographics as another way to share your content and to build your brand. Also, I love visual posts, and as you have no doubt seen on Facebook and certainly with Pinterest and Instagram, visual posts or posts with photos or graphics are a great way to get your content out there and to get your content shared. So I love to do posts that are not just words but images or visuals, and the free resource I use most of the time to create those images and those visual posts is canva.com. Again, canva.com is a free resource that allows you to create graphics, photos with text, really easy to use. You can see here on the screenshot that you basically can take a template from the left-hand side of the screen and drag it to the right-hand side of the screen and change the text and change the words. You can change the background and create your own visuals. So in this case, I was basically creating a cover slide for a presentation I'm doing called Video Marketing for Business, and I was able to create a custom, unique graphic cover slide using canva.com. And again, I don't know Photoshop. I don't think I even have Photoshop, but I use things like canva.com to create graphics. And again, I'm not a graphic designer. I'm taking Canva's designs essentially and just customizing them and making them my own. So canva.com is a great free resource for creating graphics. And again, those graphics are perfect for posting on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. So here's a post on Facebook, for example. This was when I was doing my mentoring program, and rather than just say, join my mentoring program, I used a graphic that said Mentor with Lou Private Mastermind, and had the URL in there. So rather than just having a text post on Facebook, I can make this a visual post, and I can make it something that's a little bit more interesting to look at, something that's more likely to be shared, and more importantly, something I can also put on Pinterest or Instagram or any other number of places. So when you are posting on Facebook and on these social networks that love visuals, use canva.com to make the visuals and to make them more interesting. And again, I'm not a designer. I'm just taking what Canva gives me and changing the words and customizing it for my own purposes. So that's Canva, CANVA.com. And Canva is a free resource. The way that Canva makes their money essentially is that when you get into photos and things like that, like certain photos may cost $1, so they basically charge you $1 for some of the photos, but many of them are free. So again, I had this background, I made it a little bit blurry, I added the text over it, and in just a couple minutes I made that graphic. So that is my visual stuff. I also love to post quotes, and as you know, quotes are shared pretty frequently on Facebook and other places, and there are several tools you can use to make your quotes look more visually interesting and turn them into graphics. The one that I use probably most often is called Quozio.com. And again, this is another free resource, and you can go to Quozio.com and type in the quote that you want to use, and you can use an existing quote or a quote that you made up yourself. So again, earlier in this webinar I shared a quote, I guess, that says you are what you upload. So I can put that into Quozio.com as a quick little quote and attribute it to me because I think I made it up. And then click the go button and you will get a lovely little graphic that is more interesting than just text. It says you are what you upload. So you can also change that, as you can see on the top here. Quozio has several different backgrounds and templates, so if you don't like the way it looks with white on red, you can change it to a different background or a different text. So oftentimes I will collect some of those quotes or some sayings that I come up with and put them into Quozio.com so that I can then upload them to Facebook. As you can see here, you can tweet it, you can send it to Google+, you can pin it on Pinterest. So it's really easy to get your content out there, and in this case it's original content, or if you just want to use an inspirational quote or another famous quote and attribute it to whoever said it, you can share that as well and make it very visual and make it very much more compelling than just strictly text. So again, post photos, post quotes, yours or other people's, and it's really easy to make them look professional and to share them using tools like Quozio.com. All right, let's see how we're doing here. We're plowing through. Now let's talk a little bit about sharing content or courses on Udemy.com. Udemy.com is an online learning platform, and they allow you to create and share courses or information products that you create. So in this case, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I took the same 4-part or 5-part video series that's on my home page, and I turned it into a free course on Udemy.com. Now again, I wanted to start with a free course, first of all because I'm giving this away for free on my website too, so I didn't want to charge for it on Udemy, but I also wanted to start there with a free course and try and add some value and basically get some plant a flag on Udemy basically to get some of my content out there, and I wanted to start with something that was free and easy for people to download. So I took my business video, how to engage prospects and create raving fans, and put the course on Udemy. It's very easy to put courses on Udemy. They are mostly video based. I already had these videos that existed. They weren't that long, 18 minutes, 16 minutes, and I put them into Udemy and shared them as a free course on Udemy as a way to share content. And here's the interesting thing. I don't know if you can see this here, but this, at the time of this slide, had 1,756 students, or 1,700 people that had downloaded this course from Udemy. So that's essentially having 1,700 new contacts or new fans or whatever you want to call them, followers, that I can now follow up with when I put a paid course on Udemy. I can say, hey, if you liked my free course on Udemy, maybe you'd like my paid course on Udemy. And you set the price, and then Udemy, there's a revenue split, so I don't remember exactly what it is, but you decide what the price of your course is going to be, and you put your course up there, and Udemy is a great platform because you don't need a shopping cart. They take care of all that stuff. You don't need any back end. Basically, you sell your course, and you split the proceeds with Udemy. So right now at this point I just have a free course on Udemy, but again, it's a great way to share your content, get your stuff out there among different audiences, get beyond your usual circles, and I am going to do a paid course on Udemy eventually, but again, it's all about sharing content and getting your stuff out in front of as many eyeballs as possible and adding value with that content. And that's really what kind of gives you the advantage over other folks, because that's when you get the sort of I see you everywhere effect. Oh my gosh, you're on Udemy, you're on Facebook, you're on Pinterest. Yes, that's true, but it's all essentially different parts of the same content. So I'm not creating something completely different for each one of these platforms. I'm just gearing that content for that specific platform. All right, any questions? I have some more stuff to go, but I'm going to take a drink here and see if there are any questions. All right, good. We looks like we're in good shape, so we'll keep plugging along here. Awesome. All right, next is Creative Live. And this is another platform for courses, and this is actually a little bit different because, as the name might suggest, Creative Live lets you do live workshops where you go to their studio in San Francisco or Seattle, and you basically do a 2 or 3 day workshop. So I'm going to put in a plug here for my course, which is coming up in a couple weeks in October. And this course is Master Video Marketing for Your Business, which you can find at Creative Live, or you can go to loubortone.com/Creative Live. Now you can watch this class for free when it airs live. So that's the cool thing about Creative Live. You can watch it for free on October 13th through 15th, or you can buy it if you want to watch it, whenever you want. But again, Creative Live, I'm sharing this not only to promote my course, but to tell you that this is an awesome platform, and a platform where you may possibly be able to share some of your content. They do, everything from Photoshop classes to, how to win friends and influence people to, there's been a lot of folks on there, like Michael Port did a Creative Live last week called Heroic Public Speaking with his business partner Amy Mead. So they do stuff all the time. They've got tons and tons of classes, everything from business to arts and crafts. And again, I'm doing one in a couple weeks, so I welcome any folks that want to watch or sign up for free. You can watch for free, or you can pay for it later on. But anyway, it's all at loubortone.com/Creative Live. Again, this is a great new way to share your content, to share your information, to get your stuff out there. Certainly not quite as easy as just throwing a course on Udemy, because obviously you have to be invited to present and all that, but it is a great way to get your content out there and to get new eyeballs and new audiences to see it. Now again, you can share your content on Google+, on YouTube. The nice thing about Google Hangouts, like what we're doing here, is that a Google Hangout on Air, which is basically a publicly broadcast Google Hangout like this one, is automatically shared to your Google Plus page and later to your YouTube account. So you've got a replay pretty much instantly, and you can see some videos here that people have posted, and photos and quotes and things like that. But this is another great place to share your content. I know a lot of people sort of pick on Google and sort of say, oh, Google Plus, nobody's there, but believe me, there is a lot happening on Google+. It is a vibrant community and a great place to post your content. Now again, look on the upper left-hand side here. You can post text, you can post photos, you can post links, you can post events, you can post video. So don't leave Google Plus out when you are doing your content and when you are posting places. And again, the thing I love about Google Hangouts is this webinar that we're doing here live is being shared live in real time on my Google Plus account as well. So it's sort of killing two birds with one stone. Then the next C is consistency. You want to be consistent with your content, which means consistent in tone and in frequency, or how often you post. So again, you want to maintain a regular, ongoing presence on social media. Twitter doesn't work if you do it 1 week and then leave it for 3 weeks. But you can use tools such as Buffer at bufferapp.com to pre-schedule your posts, or to, basically, if you've got some evergreen content and things like that that you want to share, you can actually pre-schedule it. And I know there's a lot of people that say you shouldn't do that, but hey, if you're going to be away for a week, or if you're going to be traveling, it's a great way to make sure that you've still got a presence online. And I use, again, Buffer app. I use Buffer for that at bufferapp.com. There's a free version and a premium version. And the great thing about that is that sharing and cross-posting and recycling your content is much easier than you think. So it's actually easier to be consistent. As long as you always have something to share or promote, that's fine. Again, you might have an evergreen offer that you can promote, or you might have a webinar that you do every week, or a podcast, and you always have to promote that, and you always should be promoting it, because what may sound repetitive to you is actually building your brand. And I'm sure you've heard that people have to see something 7 times before it sinks in, things like that. So again, don't be afraid to post and repost. And as I mentioned, I use bufferapp.com, and I typically pre-schedule some tweets and Facebook posts, especially if they're not really time sensitive, because I know I'm going to be busy, or I'm going to be traveling. And in this case, this is an old screenshot, but I posted things for a webinar, and I said, okay, I know I'm doing this webinar, so I know I have to post for the webinar and promote the webinar on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. And I knew I was going to be traveling, so the easiest way to do that is to just schedule those posts in bufferapp.com. And again, they do have a free version. It's somewhat like Hootsuite or TweetDeck. Again, it's a personal preference, but Liz is asking, should you use Buffer app or Hootsuite? I prefer Buffer app, and again, I've used Hootsuite. I just like the fact that I can put my posts into Buffer and then decide, where do I want to post that? Do I want to put it in my Google Hangouts or in my Twitter account, or do I want to post it to LinkedIn? And as you can see, I can schedule it by the exact time. So I can put things either to schedule at set times or by exact times. So again, I'm just promoting, sometimes I'm sharing articles and content, like 16 types of video you can create, or an infographic. But again, it gives me a presence, and would give you a presence and consistency, because you've always got sort of a baseline presence on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. And I supplement these with live, on-the-fly posts that are more timely. These are just my sort of generic evergreen posts. So again, I just happen to be a fan of Buffer app. It's not necessarily better than Hootsuite. I just like it, and I'm used to it. Karen says, is your course all day for 3 days, or part of the day but viewable for 3 days? The course is actually 3 full days. The Creative Live course that I'm doing in a couple of weeks is 3 full days. So you can watch it live, or if you can't set aside that time, you can buy the recordings and watch all 3 days at your leisure. Sue says, Udemy is a fantastic resource. She says she's built her business by giving programs away. Wow, even got on a $1 billion project coaching top executives by someone seeing a free course. So big fan. Sue's a big fan of Udemy or udemy.com, however you wish to pronounce it. All right, the next C is creativity, and we're going to pick up the pace here a little bit so we can get you guys out of here. But we want to share some good content here. So creativity, it's great to post content. It's even better if you can be creative with that content, and that again means adding photos and graphics to keep your content fresh. Again, coming up with new ways to repurpose existing content. I did a poll, a survey, and not only was I taking that survey results, I put them into an infographic and repurposed it that way. Again, there are always new platforms and new apps for sharing, like Adobe Voice, for instance, one of my favorite iPad apps. You can use quotes, images, mashups. So think about how many different ways you can recycle and repurpose your content just by getting a little bit more creative with it. One of the tools that I love and I use all the time is called Bitstrips, B-I-T-S-T-R-I-P-S, Bitstrips. It is basically a Facebook app, but you can get it for the iPad as well. And it basically turns your avatar or your picture into a cartoon. Now, I didn't make this cartoon. Bitstrips made this cartoon. And each day they have different cartoons with your avatar that you can download or share on Facebook. Now, again, I'm not a cartoonist. I don't have any real artistic ability. This was done by Bitstrips, not by me. So it's free. They give you different little cartoons that you can create every day. You can mix and match. But in this one, this was one that came out way back when Letterman announced he was retiring. So there was a cartoon that just said Lou would make a great replacement for Letterman. So that's my little David Letterman impersonation, courtesy of the free app bitstrips.com. And this is what Bitstrips looks like. It is an app that you can get for Google, for your Android, or for your iPhone or iPad, or even for your Kindle Fire. And you can design, as it says here, cartoon versions of yourself and your friends. Put your friends in hilarious comics where anything can happen. So it's really easy to do once you've got your little avatar created. Basically, Bitstrips delivers you a handful of new cartoons every single day that you can share on Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest. So I love these little cartoons. I use them all the time in different places, and it's really just one example how you can get creative, even if you're not an artist and you're not, you don't think you're creative. You can use these free tools like Bitstrips to be more creative and to make your content more compelling. So that's Bitstrips, and you can find it on for Google Android or for the iPhone or iPad, or you can look at for the app on Facebook. The next C is contribution, and that's really about contributing to other colleague sites, and it's about finding colleagues who share your target market or who share your philosophy, and reaching out to influencers in your industry, and perhaps being a guest blogger or giving them some content, an article or a blog, because bloggers are always looking for fresh content, and these folks, especially who blog or who put out content every day, many of them are happy to have guest posts or guest contributors. And doing guest blog posts can expose you to a whole new audience. Again, it's about getting outside your usual circle or your usual list or your usual people and getting exposed to new audiences. So I contribute to a couple of blogs. One of them is Carol Roth at carolroth.com. She's an entrepreneur and an author, and she does a blog called Tough Love for Business, or Business Unplugged. And I send them an article every month, and they post the article. In this case, it was 5 easy ways to create video even on bad hair days. So, and usually this is an article that maybe it came from my blog or from an idea that I had or from a quote or a post or something like that. So the reason I do this, again, is because it gets my content in front of other audiences, in front of Carol's readers and Carol's audience and her target market. So for me, it's worth the effort to get my stuff out in other places like that. So find folks or strategic partners with whom you can share your content or perhaps be a guest blogger. I also do guest blog posts occasionally, not every month, but on a blog called The Future of Ink. And this is Denise Wakeman and Ellen Britt's site. Really excellent site and excellent portal for all things digital. So again, here I've contributed a blog post to them, and they publish it, and again, it gets my content out into a different place, a different market, just another way to be seen and to be an influencer and to use that content to give you an edge in business. So this one you'll find on The Future of Ink. The next C, and I think the final C, is called co-opetition. And basically what that is it's cooperative competition. And by that I mean finding ways to collaborate with folks who you may initially see as your competition. I would argue that you know, they're probably not your competition. If you look a little further, they might serve the same audience, but maybe they don't do exactly what you do. So it's usually best to approach this from an abundance mentality. There's plenty to go around, so you know, it's okay. I promote other video people, and hopefully my audience benefits from that. I'll do webinars for other video people who may, you know, you may see them as my competition, but I don't see it that way. We all help each other out and cooperate. I promote them, and they promote me in return. And in fact, my biggest joint venture promotions have been with my video quote-unquote competition. So as an example of that, I'll promote my friend Mike Stewart's video stuff. And again, you know, this is a great friend and colleague from the Atlanta area, and I try to promote his stuff and do webinars and things with him, and he'll do the same for me. So it's a really neat way to basically, you know, get in front of each other's audiences and use co-opetition so that everyone benefits. And ultimately, the people who benefit are the viewers and the followers, because they're getting the best of both worlds, and they're getting exposed to content from other video folks. So really, don't look at it as competition. Look at it as co-opetition or cooperative competition. Another resource I want to share with you before we wrap up here is Social Buzz Club. This is a great way to share your posts or your content and get your stuff shared as well. It's basically based on a point system, and you can use points. You get points every time you post for somebody, and then you use those points to get your content shared. So it's really a social collaboration tool, and again, a great way to reach new audiences with your content. They have a free version and they have a paid version. You can find it at my affiliate link, lubortone.com/buzz, and you can see what it looks like here. You've got all kinds of different articles that people post or blog posts, and you can share their content to your social networks, which again, you're doing sort of a service to your viewers and listeners. And when you share that content, you then get points that you can use to have your content shared by others. Again, it's all about exposing yourself to new audiences. So Social Buzz Club, as you can see, there is a free version, and there's also a monthly, what is it, $19 a month version or $10 a month version. So very reasonable. You can see some of the folks who share content on Social Buzz Club: Mari Smith, Denise Wakeman, me, Amy Porterfield, Pam Grossman. And this is a great way that you can get your content and your blog posts shared by the likes of these folks and many others. So it's a really great tool. Big fan of Social Buzz Club. They also do webinars every month and all kinds of cool stuff. But basically, it's a social collaboration tool that allows you to get your content shared by other folks. So again, those 5 C's are content, consistency, creativity, contribution, and co-opetition. So again, thought leadership is about staying top of mind, being active on social media and staying visible, seeking out opportunities to be a guest speaker or a panelist on telesummits or video summits, seeking out opportunities to be on podcasts or things like blog talk radio. When you do that, it all kind of feeds into itself and gets you on panels at events and conferences. Another idea is to just start a LinkedIn group within your niche, or find LinkedIn groups that you can participate in. It's sort of a little known tool, but there's a lot going on LinkedIn and a lot of sharing going on. And it's all about being top of mind. You want to be the one that people think of when they need your particular service. So hold on just a second. Let me pull back here for a minute. Okay. So if you want to stay in the spotlight, it also helps to automate as much of your social media as possible. We talked about Buffer app. Repurpose and recycle everything. Be generous with your content and expertise. Find new venues and new platforms outside your primary area, such as udemy.com, and stay active and visible with videos, video hangouts, Google Hangouts, podcasts, etc. That's how you really stay in the spotlight and get those opportunities and have more income, more impact and influence, which leads to more income. So again, some of the tools and resources we mentioned, and some that we just glossed over a bit: Buffer, Hootsuite, or TweetDeck for automating and scheduling posts; Social Buzz Club for sharing your content and being shared. I use Contactually, which is a CRM for direct outreach and follow-up. Video email, I talk about it a lot. We didn't talk about it much here, but you can use VSnap, which is, I think it's still free, or BombBomb for video email. Obviously, webinars to share content and sell products, and email. There are so many different ways to share and spread your content and really kind of get that I see you everywhere effect. Of course, there are platforms like YouTube and Vimeo and your own blog, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, Pinterest, SlideShare.net, Instagram, and Vine. We could do another whole webinar just on that. So a lot of different ways to share your stuff. I know it's getting close to the top of the hour, so I want to wrap it up, but let me take a quick look at the questions. All right, so Sue is looking for pictures or stock photography. I use a resource called photodune.net for very inexpensive pictures, but you might even be able to find some in public domain. Just search public domain on public domain photos in Google, and you'll find some cool resources for that. Let's see. Oh, cool. Karen just says if you click on the question box. And I think I answered Sue's question. And how do we find people who want guest bloggers, or who we can be a guest blogger for? That's a good question. Again, if you have blogs that you're a fan of, or blogs that you like to read, or anything that's in your niche, just try and look at people who you may initially see as people who serve your same target market. And if they're doing blogs, chances are you can find out if they take guest bloggers. And again, if they do, they've got a lot of content, a lot of stuff they need to fill. So you could just reach out to them and see if they accept guest posts. And if they do, chances are they will let you be a guest contributor. All right, so if you want, we'll just wrap up here with this. If you do want help doing all of this stuff to get it done and repurpose your content and get your video stuff out there, I am doing a 90-day program that starts on October 1st, and this includes a really intensive, comprehensive 12-week course that you can really do any time because it's all the content is there in 12 modules, plus 3 private coaching sessions and a year's membership in our online Rockstars Club. Basically, what I'm doing is I've created a package that is worth, this is not some random figure, it's actually worth $3,008, and I am offering it as a year-end coaching special for just 3 payments of $197. So essentially, you're getting a $3,000 coaching program for less than $600. Again, this is just if you want help doing all of this kind of stuff, getting more visible, getting a higher profile, repurposing your content, creating videos. You can see here or watching the replay, because I'm going to go zip by this fast, the content that is shared in the 90-day video marketing advantage. There are 12 lessons. I like to do them as weekly lessons, but you can do them whenever you want on various video and online marketing subjects, plus 3 private one-on-one coaching sessions with yours truly. So if you are interested in that program, you can go to loubortone.com/advantage. I should probably put that in the chat box, so I'll work on that. And you can get all the details there. So just feel free to go and check out the sales page. That has all the details. I won't bore you with all the features and benefits right now. Suffice it to say, it is an awesome deal because it's basically a big 12-week coaching program plus 3 coaching sessions with me for a fraction of what it would normally cost, just as a year-end coaching special. So go to loubortone.com/advantage. I'll put that in the chat, and you can check it out. So that's pretty much all the content we have for this evening. Let me see if there are any questions. We're just about at the top of the hour, so we'll try and wrap this up. But I do want to see if there are any questions. Yes, there will be a replay. Kevin says, thank you, great webinar. Sue says she made screen copies of everything. If you want a copy, just email her. And again, I'll also make the slides available if you wish. Or, again, this will also be a replay on Google Plus and on YouTube soon. I'm doing this webinar, again, the exact same webinar, Friday at noon Eastern. Live, it's not a recording. So if you feel like you need to go through it again, you're welcome to join me on Friday. And Sue, that resource that I mentioned was Photo Dune, and that's, I'll just put it in the chat, Photo, DUNE.net. Photodune.net is a place where you can find stock photography. So again, that's it for the time being. If you're interested in the Finish Strong Coaching Special, which is a 3-month coaching program to run to the end of the year, plus 3 private coaching sessions with me, feel free to check out the link at loubortone.com/advantage. Ian says thank you. Thank you, Ian, for being here. Stephen says great stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am so glad you guys were here. I haven't done a webinar for a while, so it's great to have you all here. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate it. I want to respect your time and try and share as many resources and as much information as I can squeeze into an hour. Gavin says, thanks, sweet Lou. Thank you. I'll leave this slide up if you need the URL for the coaching special, just in case. You will get a replay or a link to a replay of this. Sue says, fantastic. Bill says, great practical info. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. So that's going to wrap it up. Like I say, I'm doing this exact webinar also on Friday at noon. But a replay will also be available to you if you missed anything, because I know we squeezed a lot of stuff in here. So thanks again for being here. Feel free to join me on the really cool coaching program that is at a rock bottom investment right now at loubortone.com/advantage. Teresa says, excellent, thank you. Sue says, thanks, thank you. Teo says, thank you. Thank you, guys. So glad that I was able to do this with you and for you. And I hope to see you next time we do this. So let me just double check. You know what? I forgot that I have a actually, this is kind of cool. Webinar Jam lets you do an offer right on the thing. So if you look on the right-hand side and click on pop-ins, you should see the actual year-end coaching special thing displayed there. This is a really cool feature of Webinar Jam that I like because it basically puts your offer right on the same page as your webinar without having to go to a sales page. So I'll leave that up for a couple seconds and see if there are any other questions. Cool. Everybody says thanks. Nice. Very nice. Thanks so much. So now if you go to the sidebar and click on pop-ins, you'll see that little offer that says year-end coaching special. And it's 3 coaching sessions with me plus the 12 weeks of killer content. You'll see the big yellow button there. You can find out more there. That takes you to the sales page. Just another lovely feature of Google Hangouts and Webinar Jam that you can create these little promotions and offers right in the webinar. Let me check one more time for questions and then we'll wrap it up. Cool. Sue says thanks. Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Sue, for being here. Appreciate it. Ian, appreciate it. I know we had people here from Germany, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. Oh my God, I can only imagine what time it is in some of those places. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it and got some good stuff out of it. Replay will be available. Sue, this is not group coaching. It is individual, one-on-one private coaching with me. So to work on your specific business and your specific challenges. I don't do it all that often, but I really want to do it for the end of the year just so that we'd go out on a high note. I'll leave this up just for another minute here on the offer just in case anybody needs the URL, and then we will call it quits for now. Take a quick drink, see if there are any questions. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for participating. Thanks for your questions and for keeping it interactive. That's awesome. Let me just see if everybody got what they need here on the questions. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Thank you. So yeah, that's private coaching. The year-end special is a 12-week course plus 3 one-on-one private coaching sessions with me to work on your business. I will make the slides available. Again, this will be available on my Google Plus page because Google Hangouts puts it there, and on my YouTube page, and of course you will get a replay or a link to the replay as well as soon as this is over. So thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate it. So glad to have you here. Would love to work with you if it is a fit or if you feel like it's something that might benefit you. There's the link, and that's all she wrote. Cool. Thanks so much. We're going to sign off here in a sec. Just making sure I got the recording all set. And we will see you next time. Thanks for being here, and hope to catch up with you all soon. Bye for now.